According to a recent Microsoft study, 87% of employees feel productive while working hybrid, yet only 12% of leaders have full confidence that their team is actually productive. The problem is that employers fear that they are losing control if they can't see their employees working as they could in the office. That's why lots of companies have recreated the office online with back-to-back video meetings in an attempt to keep everyone on the same page. But this comes at the cost of employees' productivity and well-being. There are different ways of working hybrid, but the 60-40 model that a lot of conservative companies are choosing right now is the most difficult way to work hybrid because it requires your team to be great at in-person, online and hybrid meetings. But the fact is that most meetings are a waste of time and disrupt your workflow instead of helping you be more productive. And that's why most people hate meetings, but meetings are still the go-to method for giving updates, brainstorming and making decisions. But actually there's a better way. Enabling your team to work asynchronously first. Working async first is the opposite of working real-time first. So instead of collaborating with meetings, you can use tools like Miro to brainstorm asynchronously, post updates, request feedback, and give visibility into what everyone is working on. I'm in the Miro Expert program and I've helped many teams to design digital products asynchronously, define their way of working, and even create the curriculum for courses asynchronously. Working async first means that you have fewer and better meetings and can get more work done as a team. But working towards an async first approach can be difficult. So in this video, I will show you how to get started with the One Workshop Workweek with the use of a Miro template. And if you want to, you can copy the template, just go to this URL. The One Workshop Workweek is an agile framework that helps your team work together async first. This means fewer and more productive meetings, so your team gets more work done. It enables your team to work anywhere they want and whenever they are most productive. And by the way, you might not know me, I'm Agile Arthur, I'm the founder of Workshop Wednesday and I help tech teams to work better together. I've been working in and with virtual teams since 2005 as an online gamer, software developer, agile coach and a remote work expert. Right now, I'm working with other remote experts to craft the One Workshop Workweek, which is an agile framework that helps you apply the principles of the best remote companies like GitLab, Doist and Stripe. If you want to get started with working async first, then you can follow along with the steps in this Miro template. In this Miro template, you see a workshop that you can do together with your team to get started with the One Workshop Workweek. So we have a couple of steps over here. Let's start at the goal of today. And this is an async team agreements workshop. So it's kind of like a kickoff workshop that you can do with your team to start working together towards an async first way of working using the One Workshop Workweek framework. This workshop will help your team answer the question, how might we get more work done together async first? I just explained the why already, so let's move towards the how. And those are 5 steps. The first one is watching this video, so you're almost done with that. Then sharing this template with your team. You can do so in the top right corner. Run this workshop with your team, and then start your first One Workshop Workweek. Because you will learn the most by doing, and the Work, Inspect, Improve cycle helps you to focus on improving 1% every day, eliminating other meetings at your own pace, and documenting decisions by updating your knowledge base and team task list. The workshop starts with giving an overall idea of the One Workshop Workweek. It's an agile framework that helps your team work together async first, so you can have fewer and better meetings, more time for getting things done, work anywhere you want, and whenever you're most productive. It helps you to move from an agenda like this, with back-to-back meetings, towards an agenda where you have more control over your day and more time for deep work. You can do so by using your communication tools in a different way. Because on a meeting-first way of working, which you see on the left side, there is a lot of use of tools like Slack, Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or maybe face-to-face meetings for real-time communication. And the problem with that is that everything is urgent, and probably because of that you have back-to-back meetings. It's hard to get work done. And if someone is not in the room, be it physical or virtual, then they're missing out on the conversation. So we want to flip this pyramid and work async first. We want to make more use of a team knowledge base, a team task list, so that we can have less real-time communication. The benefits of that is that you only have one weekly workshop, no other meetings. You always know your priorities. You have blocks of focused work, and you're always in the loop, even if you're not part of the real-time conversation. Now, why I'm such a big fan of Miro is because it can help you with all these different layers of communication. You can plug it into existing tools. And if you want to, it can even replace those tools, for example, to become your team knowledge base. But the important thing about async communication is that you want to create a collective brain for your team. So your team knowledge base and your team task list, they will always be the single source of truth and always up to date with the latest information, so that other people from your team know what has been discussed and what decisions has been made, even if they were not part of the discussion. I will explain the team knowledge base and team task list in a bit, but the overall idea of the one workshop work week is that you have one weekly workshop, in this case on Wednesday. A well-designed weekly workshop makes all other meetings obsolete, and you can work together towards async practices of working. So your weekly workshop is the only meeting you have as a team, and it has 3 parts: work on new insights, improve your way of working, and plan your next week. It has a maximum duration of 3 hours, and if you can finish faster, then that's great, of course. Now you might be thinking, what about my other meetings? So the overall idea is that you don't have any other meetings with more than 3 people involved, because it's usually best to wait until the weekly workshop. But some other real-time meetings that might be helpful are one-on-ones, pair programming, or pair problem solving. Now, to be able to do that, your async communication needs to be on its A game. So if you want to learn more about async communication, I created a YouTube video for that. It's in the template as well. But the basic idea is that you want to move from meeting first, where a lot of communication is happening face-to-face via video call or phone call, to an async way of working with shared documents, pre-recorded videos, or audio messages. And to give an example of what can be done async first, status updates, sharing information, brainstorming, planning, problem solving, decision making, all of them can be done async first. But working together async first takes practice, and depending on the needs of your team, it might change. So there's an exercise in the workshop which will help your team to decide how they want to move towards async first. Maybe you're already doing some things async first that you want to continue doing or do more of. In the second step, you can list the things you want to stop doing real time. And then the third step is the things you want to start doing asynchronously. Use this area to brainstorm ideas with your team. Ask them to write down their ideas asynchronously. So this could be before a real-time meeting. Or if you want to do it in a meeting, then give some time for silent thinking. So set a timer for 4 minutes and then ask them to write down their answers here before you start discussing that with each other. After you've decided how you want to move towards async first, there's also a second exercise that you can do with your team to set expectations about availability, how to handle urgent things, what communication channels you want to use, and how you can see if other people are available. And after you've done that, it's time to design your team knowledge base. Your team knowledge base is your single source of truth, which enables you to work together async first. It's a place where you store all team knowledge. It increases team productivity, and it's easier to onboard new team members. Your knowledge base can be built in Notion, in Google Docs, in Confluence, in ClickUp. It can be even built in Miro. But it is important that everyone knows where to find it and that it's up to date. So a good exercise to do, if you already have a current knowledge base, is to ask your team what's missing in that knowledge base, what's giving problems or is bothering people, and what do you really like about the current knowledge base. Because this is all great input for keeping up to date and improving your team knowledge base. In the next exercise, you can ask your team to pick the building blocks or the topics that they find important in the team knowledge base that are not in yet. I've included many examples in this template. You can find questions below those examples to pick the topics that make most sense for your team. Then up to the team task list. And the team task list is your single source of truth as well. But this one is about connecting your daily work with your team's goals and vision. It helps you to visualize the work in progress, always know what's next, and find decisions that have been made. It's a prioritized list, so similar to the product backlog in Scrum, the most important things are on the top, and the things that you will do later in time are lower on the list. The idea here is that if it isn't on the team task list, it will not be done. So everything from tasks, discussions, documents, debates, decisions, improvement actions, if it's something that is a task that your team has to do, it has to be put on a team task list, because otherwise there will be confusion about priorities. And when you confuse, you lose. Similar to the knowledge base, it's important that your team knows where to find the project management tool. So it could be Notion, Jira, Asana, ClickUp, or even Miro. And once you have picked that tool, it's important to make agreements about how others can see a new work item has started, how others can see someone is stuck on a work item, and what conditions your done work items need to meet. Now, creating the team task list is a whole exercise on its own, but the overall idea is that you want to connect the mission and vision of the company with your daily execution, by picking the best possible strategy. So work together with your team to make sure all tasks, discussions, documents, debates, decisions, and actions are in your team task list, and only break it down into smaller tasks when you actually start working on the item. Now we're almost there with the One Workshop Workweek, but an important part is to set accountability standards, and we can do that by making use of automated questions. Automated questions on a regular schedule help us practice sharing, writing, and communicating. Automated questions help for higher accountability, faster and better feedback loops, and to improve your async habits and skills. An inspiring company when it comes to automatic questions is Basecamp. They have their own tool Basecamp, which you can use for this, which can help you to set automatic dailies, weeklies, or basically automatic reminders whenever you want. It will send a question to your team, and then you have a dedicated page where everyone in the team can answer these questions. So Basecamp is a tool that you can use, but of course you can also just plan it in your calendar. You can make use of Slack and set auto reminders over there. And also in Notion, you can set recurring events. So brainstorm with your team what automated questions will help them learn more about their work and each other. There are some examples included here as well. So the automatic weekly, the weekend highlight, trivia, the automatic daily. You can use those as inspiration, but of course feel free to add your own. After you've picked the automated questions that make most sense to you, put it over here. So the question will be over here. And then ask your team to practice with it. So if it's an automatic daily, what is the question? And then ask them, give them some time to practice, to review each other's answers, and then give feedback on it, because that's a great way to learn async communication. So that's a quick overview on how to get started with the One Workshop Workweek. After you've done this session with your team, start your first One Workshop Workweek, and then a week after, do the weekly workshop to review the progress that has been made and to plan your next week. Because this will give you feedback loops, and it's all about working, inspecting, and improving. Focus on improving 1% every day. Eliminate your other meetings at your own pace, and then document your decisions by updating your team knowledge base and team task list. Now, if you need extra help or want to learn faster with your team, then one of the ways to do that is with our hybrid work team training. It's a 4-week program that will help you and your team to get from the old way, so the meeting first approach, to the new way, the async first approach, using our DEAL framework to define, eliminate, practice async, and liberate your team from the meeting first approach. It's a 4-week program with personal coaching, personal work, live team workshops, and on-demand videos. And that's how you get more work done together, async first. I wish you the best and fun with getting started with the One Workshop Workweek.